Outside, Inside, 2010. A Visit with the Artist. An Installation by Mara Buck. A Visit with the Artist is an installation of 3 salvaged doors arranged as a freestanding screen. The viewer is invited to physically walk through 3 weeks in my life, illustrating the doors simultaneously entrap and shelter while they obscure and reveal. I believe that the most memorable art is personal on a universal level, and so, for the past several years, I have explored the connection between cumulative time and my artwork of the day. I have displayed my life of the moment upon doors salvaged from anonymous donors. My personal experiences acquire further shades of implication when presented upon the fabric of others' lives. The inside of the first door is a self-portrait executed in oil on mirror, and the other 2 doors each display 7 daily spontaneous artworks in collage, pastel, oil, or watercolor, speaking to the weather or to my mood at the time of creation. As we round the corner, we discover that the outside of each door holds various common items which suggest imaginary scenarios between these found objects and their relationships to the doors, to the artist, and to the artworks hidden on the other side. Each viewer will bring his or her own experiences to the interpretation while walking around this freestanding installation. Coming back to the inside of the installation, let us examine the artwork a bit more closely. For a number of years, I have been painting portraits on mirrors so that the background and the light effects constantly change. This self-portrait continues the theme involving the viewer in my world by incorporating the viewer's own reflection in this salvaged mirror mounted upon a salvaged door. The juxtaposition of the reality of the door with the seemingly reflected portrait invites an intimate conversation and yet simultaneously lends a confrontational quality as the viewer approaches. Living in the Maine woods brings me fresh inspiration daily. I label my artistic process lyric spontaneity, personal lines or brushstrokes evolved from a lifetime of art expressed in spontaneous gesture. This first painting of the second week of the installation uses a technique of turpentine wash on canvas to interpret clouds lifting after the rain of a most dreary day. The cumulus clouds of the next day begged a light-handed pastel treatment. Unfortunately, I received bad news by the next day, so that, although the sky was cobalt and the flowers were blooming, my pastel strokes betrayed my mood. Sometimes, when the business of life intervenes, I am only able to manage a small, yet whimsical work for the day. This collage, which is labeled broken, certainly speaks for itself. With only an outdated prescription after the sad demise of my glasses that previous day, I resorted here to what I would call abstracted lupins. Finally, a watercolor interpretation of my limited vision during a rainy spring morning. The art of this week certainly mirrors its ups and downs. Working a la prima in the Maine weather can prove maddening at best, but this third week in the installation began with the loveliest of days, and I stole the time to do justice to this spring meadow. The collage of the next day voices a fervent wish of consuming beauty. If I only could. Another tiny abstracted sketch on a day when time was not my ally. There is a magic quality to lupins, and on this day I made the time to capture the flower's motion and the freshness of pastel. In contrast to the softness of the lupin, a stand of dead larch has its own stark beauty, rendered here in oil straight from the tube. On a very windy day, the lupins seemed to dance as the breeze rushed past, Again, a scene for pastel. I closed the week on a simple abstracted note, planning things to come. Another week of art, another week of my life. Outside Inside 2010. A visit with the artist, an installation.